Podcasts are hot right now. How do I know? Well, you're listening to one right now, aren't you? But you might be wondering, how on earth do I get my voice out there and start my own podcast? It all seems so intimidating. Between hosting and platforms and monetization, it can get real complicated real quick. Well, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. We started this podcast over 2 years ago, not knowing clue one on how to do it. So how do we do it? We did it with Anchor. Anchor is the free podcast app with creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. And Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on all the platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. And everybody likes money, right? Well, you can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So go right now, download the free Anchor app, or go to Anchor FM to get started.
It's the e-commerce minute, your daily dose of e-commerce, tech, and retail news with your hosts, Bart, Mroz, and John Suder. The e-commerce minute is a production of SUMO Heavy, a digital commerce consulting firm in Brooklyn, New York, and Philadelphia. Find us on the web at sumoheavy.com. It's e-commerce minute episode 653.
In today's episode, Victoria's Secret sold after plummeting sales.
It's no secret that Victoria's Secret has become one of the
It's
become one of the most controversial brands, continuously making headlines over the past few years. Victoria's Secret defined femininity for millions of women. Its catalog and fashion shows were popular touchstones, and for models, landing a spot as an angel all but guaranteed international stardom. But inside the company, two powerful men presided over an entrenched culture of misogyny, bullying, and harassment, and Epstein ties. According to interviews with more than 30 current and former executives, employees, contractors, and models, as well as court filings and other documents. It became clear to the public what kind of company the L Brands owned lingerie giant was, and sales began to plummet. Their toxic culture wasn't the only reason the company floundered. The lack of inclusivity, more affordable brands, poor quality control, and shifting tastes also contributed to the doomed brand's fate. Now Victoria's Secret will go private in a deal that shows just how far the brand has fallen out of favor. Private equity firm Sycamore Partners will acquire a 55% share in Victoria's Secret from its owner L Brands for $525 million. Upon the close of the deal, L Brand founder 82-year-old Les Wexner will step down as its chairman and CEO. Wexner, the longest-serving CEO of an S&P 500 company, will remain on the board as chairman emeritus. L Brands has promoted one of its longtime executives, Andrew Meslow, to take over as chief executive and be added to the board when the Sycamore deal closes. Mr. Meslow is also the chief operating officer of its Bath & Body Works chain. 3 longtime board members, including L Brands' lead independent director, will also step down at the next annual meeting. L Brands will keep a 45% stake in the Victoria's Secret business, which includes its chain Pink, and use proceeds of the sale to pay off some of its $5.5 billion with a B debt. The deal is expected to close in the second quarter. Moving forward, the company will shift its focus on running its Bath & Body Works stores as a separate company.
You know what?
I'm waiting for this one.
I feel so bad for Bath & Body Works because L Brands is just shrouded in bull poop and like horribleness. And Bath & Body Works, I love Bath & Body Works, and I almost feel icky shopping there because of like who's tied to L Brands. You know what
I don't think the average consumer realizes that. They are very good points. I agree with you, but I don't think the average consumer knows that.
Right.
I think there's a couple different things going on here in terms of perception and reality, and that the average consumer, yes, the tastes have changed. So that's one reason that the company just isn't doing well. But all this other smarmy stuff that's going on certainly does not help. Bad press is bad press, and especially when you're tied up with somebody like, Jeffrey Epstein, that might have something to do with it.
None other than.
From what I know, sorry to interrupt. From what I know, that is how when Jeffrey Epstein suddenly went from being a school teacher to an investment banker, it was Wexner's money that he handled.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how Jeffrey Epstein became a billionaire.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to make this about Jeffrey Epstein. This is more about the business of Victoria's Secret. You were going to add something.
I think one of the biggest in the last 365 days in particular, we've talked about how it's been a downward spiral, but I think the thing that propelled that downward spiral are two main things. One is that huge op-ed by the New York Times about the abuse the models actually suffered. And the other thing is the introduction of Savage Fenty, Rihanna's lingerie. I mean, Rihanna's brand is so affordable and so good, and it blew up and is super inclusive, and they hire all types of models. And Wexler and Ed Razek or whatever, Raznek.
Ed Razek. Super
They,
creep.
yeah, super creep. And they didn't want like girls who were a little bit plus size. They didn't, you know what I mean? Whereas Fenty is including all of that, which is
Yeah, and a woman's own brand. That's a great point. Yeah. I hadn't even considered that because I don't know much about. I knew that the brand exists, but I don't really know much about it. So you're saying that the brand has really taken off and kind of replaced as a fashion symbol for women looking for that type of intimate apparel. They're not going to Victoria's Secret. And you made up a good point. I mean, this guy, Ed Razek, and all the people that were probably involved, they are part of that old guy, you know, old school, whatever you want to call it. That's the way you run business. It's like, hey, honey, get me a cup of coffee, and you smack the secretary in the rear. That's all gone, you know, and it's like you got these old holdouts. I mean, how old is this Wexner guy? He's 82. So they're part of that dying breed, literally and figuratively. And, you know, and you've got these strong, powerful women brands coming up, Rihanna being a perfect example. So
she even had her fashion show on Prime, remember? Or like, and at the same year that Victoria's Secret isn't having their fashion show.
Right. It's the same time that they're not having their stupid angel wing, whatever the hell that was.
You know what I mean? So it's like, there's like, it's not even a 1-2 punch with Victoria's Secret. It's like a 6, 7, 8 punch. Like, it's like, boom, 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 bye, bye. Like, I'm sorry.
What are the other brands that are up and coming that would fit into this category?
There's a lot of them. I mean, we've talked about, we have a podcast coming out with
Harper
Wilde. That's one. Like all the new startups, all the like brands that are like more positive towards what women want now, right? Like, I mean, obviously, John and I, you and I don't shop in this business. It's a little harder to explain that.
Yeah.
But Brittany does, and then, you know, she's younger than us, and I think that world is changing, and that different version of it is coming. So Victoria's Secret definitely had a problem.
Right. Yeah. And going off of that, like Victoria's Secret was pandering to like one type of women based off of the male fantasy. And now these brands are coming out with what real actual women want to see and wear. You know what I mean? It's like completely different. It's like a 180 from the traditional landscape of lingerie.
And you know what? And that is a great term, the landscape. I was just going to say the landscape has changed so rapidly, and I don't think a company like Victoria's Secret even saw it coming or knew how to turn.
Exactly. Because they were like, oh, as long as we have our like big name Gigi Hadid angels in the Victoria's Secret show, like we'll always have that clout. We'll always be fine. We'll always be good. And everyone was like, nope. The New York Times was like, nope. You know what I mean? The models
Me
were like,
Too
nope.
had a lot to do with it, and just total change of public perception of that type of, you know, just that type of environment and objectification of women and all that kind of stuff. You know, while okay, so you can do the political end of it, but if your business is based on, you know, selling pretty things to pretty women only, you're going to have problems.
Yes, you are.
Because the rest of the world ain't so pretty.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like it was the 1% that brand represented. And you're never going to thrive in changing times if your brand represents the 1%. You know what I mean?
Yes. Great points. So Les Wexner, as we said, he was in charge for almost 6 decades. Will be stepping down from his role at L Brands, but will stay on the board. He was the longest-serving CEO of an S&P 500 company, and that mantle has now been taken up by Mr. Warren Buffett. The deal will be for $1.1 billion, a humiliating number for a company that did about $7 billion in revenue last year. And if that sounds like a lot of money, it would probably be a lot of money if this was 1993, but if you compare it to other brands like Lululemon, it has a $34 billion valuation. So it's not apples to apples.
I noticed, like, even when you walk into Victoria's Secret stores anymore, like, there's 3 people in them. Like, from, like, a commerce, from a retail perspective, too. Like, tying into all the other bricks and mortar stores we've been doing. Like, Victoria's Secret as, like, a whole, when you walk in anymore, there's 3 people there. And everyone looks ashamed. Like, everybody who's in
they're embarrassed to be there.
Is embarrassed, but they're so used to it. And they have kind of brand loyalty, you know what I mean? So it's like,
do, but also like if you look at all the other stores, right? Even Walmart or Target, I mean, they have changed how that works, you know, for, you know, not high-end lingerie itself, but just the usual things you buy.
Okay, so let's talk about in terms of design. So you used to think, oh, if I'm going to buy something really pretty and special, I'm going to go to Victoria's Secret because they're the only ones that sell it. I'll go to Walmart for my granny underwear, whatever you want to call it, you know, whatever derogatory term you want to use for it. My utility underwear, you know, but that's changed because design has really crept into the we'll say the lower end market. And Brittany, you mentioned in a podcast the other day about how you actually now will go into Walmart and find clothes that you would actually buy. And I'm going to have to agree with you on Target for their men's stuff. Their sportswear, meaning athletic stuff, like stuff you wear at the gym, pretty nice. And it doesn't come at that markup that you would pay for Adidas or Nike stuff. So
Tyler loves
design has a big influence on what people are willing to pay.
Absolutely.
What were you going to say about Tyler?
He is obsessed with Target's men's section. Like truly.
That's great.
I don't know.
Good. What is it? The Goodfellas, Good Body.
Yes. Goodfellow and
Goodfellow. Yeah.
It's amazing. Like, and all the stuff is like really well made because like, okay, not only like, like stuff like looks well designed and stuff like that and Target and Walmart, but it's actually like becoming higher quality. And that was my whole thing in the first place was like the quality of it. Right. Like, so there has always been stuff in Walmart that like could be appealing to me, but it's like made like crap. But now not only are they having better designs, like the stuff is actually like way better quality and like lasts. Like Target stuff lasts.
My analogy used to be, I have a meeting. I'm going to go buy a shirt at Target that I'm going to wear once and then throw in the trash.
Right. It's not the case anymore.
That was years ago.
It really isn't.
All right. This one's running a little long, so we're going to close up a little stat time. On the announcement of the deal, of course, this was, as of this recording last week, the stock had tumbled 10% in pre-market trading after the deal was announced, likely a sign that the market was disappointed in the agreement, which keeps the brand at a value of $1.1 billion with a B, which is still really low. That's according to CNBC. And finally, L Brands, which has a market value of $6.7 billion, has seen its stock fall more than 11% in the last year. Maybe the Bed and Bath and Body Works or whatever that soap candle place is, maybe that'll pull it back up. You guys got anything else?
Nope.
All right. That's your e-commerce minute for today. We'll see you on the internet tomorrow. That's it for today's show. If you like the show, do us a favor and subscribe or leave us a review on iTunes. And don't forget, you can now listen to the e-commerce minute on your Amazon device. Just add e-commerce minute to your flash briefing. And finally, if you have a comment or suggestion or just want to say hi, find us on social media at SUMO Heavy.